So we got Michelle Sherman, Emma Mullings, Pam Sabata, and Ashley Hetherington. Good morning, ladies. Y'all look so good.
Good morning.
Okay, so we're gonna jump right in, but I would like for each of y'all to start on this end, if you could go that way. Okay, introduce yourself, and if your ministry had a movie title, what would it be and why?
Okay, I'm Michelle Sherman, and I did think about this question a little bit. I chose a current movie title, well, an actual movie title, and as I thought about it, and this may sound a little cheesy, but I would say the classic Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life.
That's what, oh.
And because it is, but I have to tell you the backstory of that. When we first came here, Compass had been through a lot. It was broken. There was a lot of hurt. Think about the movie, It's a Wonderful Life. That's where the character starts. Drew and I had come from a church that truthfully would have been called the Titanic, okay? I'm telling you, it was bad. So we were also hurting and broken. So we've been able to grow together these last almost 24 years. We've been able to work through hurts and habits and all those sorts of things together. And so now it really is a wonderful life.
That's awesome.
I actually missed this question in the memo, so I heard it just then.
Surprise!
But the first movie that came to mind, I'm Emma, by the way. Yep. Nice to see you all again. The first movie name that came to my mind was The Fast and Furious. Because we planted a church down in South Florida, and it has been a fast and furious ride. And God has been very kind. He has breathed on the church, and there's been exponential growth. And I've been holding on for dear life, but we're making it, we're doing it. So yeah.
It's a fun movie.
And I just want to say I have been to History Makers,
Yes.
and if you guys are ever in South Florida, you have to make this stop. It's an amazing, amazing place.
Hey, maybe we could do a girls' trip.
Let's do it.
You should all do a girls'
That'd be
trip.
so
30
fun.
minutes from the beach. 30 minutes from the beach.
They have a women's conference in October.
in
We could
October.
all go.
Woo!
It's called The Awakening.
Yes. Yes.
Whoa. You should all come, it's gonna be great. Second weekend in October.
Okay, all right, we're down. Okay, I have to say, girls, I completely missed the memo. I thought we were supposed to come up with a title, so I made up my own title of a movie that doesn't even
That's
exist.
okay, there's no rules. There's no rules.
Prophesy, girl.
Okay, so the title of my movie, are you guys ready? It's gonna be so lame, but I want you guys to just act like it's not, okay? It's called, the title of my movie is called Girl, Just Get Up, We Got This.
That's right. That's good.
And the reason why is because the heart of my ministry is to just encourage the mess out of God's girls. And we as women wear so many hats. We're moms, we're business people, we're wives, we're all things, right? But the hat that I think is the most important is that we are God's daughters and we're His girls. And so my heart is to encourage speak life into the girl in every woman. And so that's why I chose the title that I chose.
I love that. Yeah, that's good.
Oh my goodness.
So I would say mine would maybe be I Can Only Imagine, because one, I just saw that movie again, it's so good, and two, I would never imagine that the Lord would, I was clueless, that was my other option. My other option was clueless. When I first started, I was clueless, did not know what I was doing, and I could only imagine, being able to speak to you guys, so I'm so grateful to be here.
Oh, I love that. Those are good movies. I'm so glad It's a Wonderful Life and we're not the Titanic, though. No. Okay, I want everyone to go and answer this one again. But since you're all women in ministry, what was the most hilarious or bad or both piece of advice you've ever received by being a woman in ministry? Like anybody giving you advice and you're like, they're so clueless, or why would they say that? Or
I feel like I'm careful who I ask for advice because I look for their fruit first.
Mm-hmm.
But so the only thing I could think of, I did read this one, by the way.
Okay.
The only thing I could think of was someone did tell us we had when we were planting the church, we had gotten our visas very expensive process. We'd quit our jobs, and we found out we were pregnant with Kingston, our little one. So he was a beautiful surprise, but not a surprise to God, because God knows. And so we ended up delaying our leave date in Australia. We left a year later than we were originally going to. But someone did tell me, you just shouldn't plant the church anymore. Like, 4 kids, too hard. You know, you got 2 under 2. But God had confirmed and confirmed and confirmed this is where he had called us. And I just knew. And at the end of your days, you need to be obedient to Jesus, because he's the one that you stand before. And he's going to ask you, what did you do with what I asked you to do? Yeah. So I would say that was probably the worst advice. But obviously I didn't follow it, so.
We're thankful for that. Yeah, that's good. Anybody else?
I think for me, one of the worst pieces of advice I ever got was when we first started in ministry. Someone sat me down and said, I need to tell you a few things, because they had kind of lived a ministry life. She goes, you can never be vulnerable with anyone, and you can never have friends. And so you go into it thinking, now I'm scared. I mean, you know, can I really get to know anyone, and can I be myself with anyone? And to me, that is the worst advice, because I set myself up first, where I have no one pouring into me. I have no accountability. Plus, we can all sniff out somebody that's not being genuine. And then we don't want to be with that person. So what does that say? I was just like, I don't understand what she had come from necessarily, but you're right. You have to look at what their fruit is to know if you need to pay attention to it. So that was really, really kind of scary advice, truthfully.
Wow. That is. It's real.
Do you want to go next?
So when, I think it was around 7 years ago now, I had this woman look at me. I was at a book writing conference, and she said, you're not going to be an author. And I was like, and that was a dream I had had since I was 6. And I remember crying with my mom. She's been there with me through a lot. We were crying in the lobby. And I just had to make a decision, like, am I going to believe this woman? Or am I going to, you know, follow God? And I think that's what we've all decided, is like, you just can't listen to those lies. I think the enemy speaks those lies at the beginning because he wants us to stop there. So if we stop there, then, you know, he can get us from the future that the Lord has. So don't let anyone speak a lie to you. Just don't believe it.
Hey, did you send her your book?
Oh, yeah.
No,
You should send her your book.
I don't want to be catty.
No.
That's catty, you guys.
I'll send the book.
I didn't.
Okay, I'm not gonna be petty, girls. I'm not. Okay, Jesus.
Just looking out for me, it's fine.
Okay, so for me, it's when I was single. I remember that I was going through like this adventure with the Lord. Like I was going to different countries, and I was preaching, and I was just having a good old time. And I remember one time I had preached somewhere, and this man came up to me with the good heart, not wicked, right? The good heart. And he was like, hey, one day you're gonna make a good preacher's wife. Like, just completely like dismissing what I was doing and just being like, hey, when you have somebody, then your ministry will be more valid. And I just chose to not accept that, because I think that so many women and so many of us, like, it's easy to think that, okay, well, I will do this once I'm in this position. But God has given us an identity apart from the other person that he's gonna send into our lives. And so and someone even had the audacity to say, well, the reason why you don't have a man is because you keep going to different countries. As if, yeah. So I needed to according to this person, I needed to put my life on pause and wait. Just maybe, I don't know. I'm like, nobody's coming to my house except the Uber guy, or like nobody's coming to my house, so like I just need to stay home and not go do ministry and do all the things. But I just realized that God knew my address. You know, he was the one going with me, showing me places. He was the one leading me into those places. So I didn't need to like put my life on pause to strategically place myself so that just in case the pizza guy is good looking, I don't know, you know. So yeah, that was the dumb advice I got.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad y'all don't listen to the bad advice, because y'all blown that, I mean, totally. So good, so good. I'm gonna direct this one towards Emma and Pam, if that's okay, but how do you balance ministry with your family and your personal life without feeling overwhelmed?
You go first. I feel like you're better at this than me.
I think for me, I learned that balancing doesn't mean things have to be equal, because that was my biggest weakness. I used to think I gotta equally be here and I gotta equally do this, but I realized that for me, balancing is about intentionality and focusing wherever God is placing me. If I'm supposed to be doing mama time and carpet time with my kid, I'm putting the laptop away. I'm not typing notes. I'm not writing an email. And I get to just love on my son thoroughly and be present. It's just, for me, balance means to be present in the moment that God's presenting to me. And so if my husband comes home and he's been gone for a while and I need to love on my man, I'm gonna love on my man. I'm gonna do all the things. I'm gonna make his steak. I'm gonna look good. I'm gonna I'm gonna do the dessert and the entree, and I'm gonna use a fake accent to make things fun. I'm gonna do all the things.
You should start saying fixin' and y'all.
Yeah, baby, I'm fixing some pudding for you. So yeah, I just be present, fully present. Whatever I'm doing, I gotta be fully present. I'm here, and I'm not looking at the baby monitor because I'm fully here with you ladies. And so that's what balance looks like for me, just being fully present.
I think to add to that, that's a great answer. I should do better. My poor husband. he hasn't been getting dessert for a while. You need to pray for him. Anyway, so for me, and maybe some of you can relate to this, I have a multifaceted gifting. So for me, it's not one thing. It's music, media, ministry, motherhood, like 4 boxes. And I am a preacher, so they'll have to start with M because it just helps me. And so a picture, I mentioned last night, God often speaks to me in pictures and visions and dreams. And a picture that he showed me when we moved to plant the church in Australia. I was never on staff at our church. Myself and Terrence, we led our Sunday night service, and I led our worship team, but I was what we call volunteer staff. So we free. But yeah.
For real.
And I was the best volunteer. But I was also our main breadwinner. I worked in media, had a radio show and a television show. So God was being very kind to me in that season. And so when we moved here, my initial thought, because I was always in that zone, was to try and find a job. I got my work permit very quickly before Terrence, and I felt like God said, all in on the church plant. And so for me, he showed me this picture. There was 4 boxes, right? And for me, it's music, media, ministry, motherhood. And in this picture, 3 boxes are behind, and they're just half full. 1 box is in front, and it's overflowing. It's overflowing, right? And then he walked into the frame, Jesus, and he moved that box to the back, and then he moved another box to the front. And then that one was overflowing. And then the rest only had half in. And he said to me, you need to be in tune with me as to which box I have in front in which season, so that you're not reaching behind. So I'm not here trying to, and when we came, we obviously had 2 babies. And I had never had a season at home with my little one, because I've always been a working mama. And we were building the church, we're having family dinners in our home, breaking all that person's rules. and that's how we started the church. But I felt like that season with Kingston, our little one, and even just me being more present as our 4 kids adjusted to a new country and new culture, was just such a beautiful, in hindsight, like it was such treasured, sacred time. But I had to just be in tune and not be reaching behind, not be looking for any other opportunities, but just present in the box that I knew that God had put in front in that season. So it's really about being obedient. Yeah. Moving things to ministry, though, and that's what I need to get better at, because the whole church has my number.
Y'all are so good. Well, I've noticed lately there's more women jumping into ministry and owning it, and I love it. And some of y'all's stories are familiar with even people I know in our church and our staff. So I love that y'all are answering like this. I know we're learning a lot. So my next question, if this could go maybe towards Ashley and Michelle, but how has your faith shaped the way you lead and serve in your community, like in your own community?
I would say for me, it's just loving where God has put me number one, and loving the people that God has put in front of me. And I am not on staff at the church. I'm one of those free volunteers.
You're the best.
I'm really, I'm a good free volunteer.
She gets heavenly dollars.
Heavenly dollars. That's what matters. That's what matters. That's for sure. That's for sure. So I do work outside the church. And so, in my job, whoever God puts in my path, I'm going to love them. Okay? Colossians 3:12 is one of my very, very favorite verses. And I know because he loves me, because this verse tells us that, then out of that is going to come an overflow of patience and goodness and all these things that are attributes that he wants us to have. So if I keep that mindset, it's a verse that I pretty much quote to myself every day. And it's almost like I'm just putting on that clothing of those attributes that he lists. And so then it doesn't matter whether I'm at church, I'm at the grocery store, I'm showing houses, I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing, I have that mindset of this is how I'm serving.
That's good.
So I live in Los Angeles, and it is not Fort Worth. Okay? People are not always kind. They're not fixing you up anything. And there's a lot of compromise, even in the Christian community, I've noticed. And the best way I've been able to see the Lord lead me in being a leader there is not being afraid to be different. Yeah. And I feel for some of you, maybe you're in a workplace, maybe you're in a school, and you are the weird one. And you're not even weird, but because you're a Christian and you actually obey what the Bible says, you're the weird one. Maybe you're not invited to everything. Maybe you're, left out of conversations, right? Or maybe when people are cussing over here, you're the one that they're not talking to. Or maybe they're gossiping about you. It can feel very isolating, but the biggest thing the Lord's taught me is don't be afraid to be different. If you're different and you stand out, that's a good thing. If you fit in with everyone, maybe you're not actually really obeying this. So, but I do love Fort Worth.
We're so glad you're here. It's so fun. Okay, I'm going to go to each of y'all and ask more personal questions. So if you want to tell your deepest, darkest secret, here is your chance. Pam, your website says that ask me about your husband's name.
Y'all.
Oh, I love that.
So I'm living my best life, I'm single. I'm like, Lord, where's my man? And the Lord sends this man. His name is Reward. I don't know anybody else. Do y'all know anybody else named Reward? I don't know anybody else named Reward. So I saved him under My Reward on my phone. That's his name, is My Reward. I don't know what I was being rewarded for, but I just accepted by faith because I did not deserve it. But yeah, his name is Reward, and it's just every time he just gets me. I'm like, God, you're so good. After a season of waiting, you bring the reward. And every time he walks in the room, I'm like, baby, you're a handsome black man. He's like, okay. I tell him that every day.
That's awesome. That's good. Okay, so Emma, you and your family relocated from Australia. What was the biggest challenge? And then we all really want to know, how big are the spiders really?
Okay, I'll tell you the biggest challenge. I honestly, I feel bad when people ask me this, but I'm going to answer honestly. Sorry.
No.
Sorry, America. I really love America, though. Honestly, we are obviously a mixed race family. In Australia, we just look at race very differently. We're all Australian. We've never had to tick a box on a form. Are you black, white? We don't have boxes like that. That's not a thing. And I guess how we were raised in Australia, to us, that would be considered quite racist. So we just hadn't been exposed to it before. So I just took the kids to the doctor, and they were mortified, our older two, what? And then they're like, well, what do we tick? Because we've never had to tick a box. And so it's just different here, how race is interpreted, talked about. It's very different here. So that was a lot for us to adjust to, and Terrence to adjust to, my husband as well, because he's born and raised in Australia. Yeah. He's Australian. And for our older two to just help them process. And then the other thing, to be honest, it kind of is the same. a little bit of the same again. I had never heard the term pastor's wife. I'd never heard it. My parents planted the church together. They were pastors. They were both preached and ordained and all the things. And so coming here is just culturally a little different. So it was a lot to get used to. But I love you guys and I love America. And I know this is where we're called and this is our home. And yeah, I think we've adjusted well.
I love the honesty, though.
Oh, and
Thank
the
you.
spiders.
Yeah, the spiders.
Yeah, they're really big. So it's so funny though, because I guess you don't have well, we lived in Sydney. Okay, Sydney's like New York, all right? We do have cities in Australia. But I grew up in the country. My parents were the country and I grew up country. So I guess you don't have a fear of spiders. I've only been bitten by a spider once, and we used clotheslines outside, and they were in my jeans, and I put my jeans on, and it bit me right here.
Oh my gosh.
And I went to the doctor like 2 days later, and I had this big rash. She's like, "Why did you wait 2 days?" I'm like, "I got kids. I don't have time for this." But you just don't have a fear of them. Like honestly, we just step on them. Even now, this is terrible. When we were in a setup packed down in the back of a school, there's creepy crawlies out the back where we do church. Out the back, not where you guys would see them when you come to the conference. But it is a high school. And they'll call me, "Emma," and I just stomp on, you know how solid your shoes are? You can just kill these things. Like, why are you scared? They're so small.
That's awesome.
You have the power.
Emma, I'm African and I don't even do that.
That's great. Gosh. Okay, Ashley, tell me a little bit about your experience being an influencer and how that has affected your ministry and your personal life.
Yes, so who here has the TikTok? Yeah, okay. I would say one of the biggest things that I've had to learn is having my time with Jesus be more than anything that I would preach about or, show online. And I think we can all feel that with even just preaching. Your time with Jesus has to be more than you talk about Jesus. Your intimacy with him is where everything flows. And I can tell when I'm not in this Bible, when I'm not praying, the intimacy, even the gifting leaves, that faucet can, if it's coming into you from the Lord, it can then come out of you. But if you're not getting any water, nothing's gonna come out. So I've had to learn that the hard way.
Thank you. Okay, Michelle. So after being a pastor's wife for over 30 years.
Which means I'm old. I do want to point out that I have noticed that I am the geriatric in the group up here.
You're wise.
I am the elder statesman. And Drew pointed that out to me last night. We're sitting over there and he goes, "You realize, don't you?" He's pointed it out. He was so kind.
We need to really get him back on that one.
Bless
I don't
his
know how.
heart.
I just want to say Michelle is goals.
I agree.
No,
You're
for
very
real.
kind.
For real, you're
very
goals.
kind. But I'm just acknowledging it and I'm stepping into it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't
it's
think
fine.
Drew's getting dessert tonight.
That is good. Well, I was going to say, y'all been married 30 years, so you must have got married when you were 12, right?
Sure. For sure.
What is the most embarrassing thing Drew's ever said about you on stage? Oh, yeah.
I've really had to think about that because I did know this question ahead of time. And I can't really say that there's anything. He always talks about me, but we have a rule. Mm-hmm. I have to know what it is. Because there will be things that happen at home, and I'll just look at him and I'll go, no. I'm like, that will not come to a pulpit near us anytime soon. So we just kind of established from the very beginning, I have to approve whatever story it is. And then there have been some that he's used a few times, so he doesn't ask me again about them. So there'll be times when I'll get to church, maybe I won't get there for the first service, and when I come in, people start talking to me about whatever it is that he said, so then I know.
Yeah, you're
When our kids were young, he would have to pay them for and Hannah, who's sitting down here on the front row, she sometimes when she needed money, she'd go, Dad, so can you work me in the sermon a little bit? Because you haven't done that in a while and I'm needing to save some money. So there is a little bit of that too, where it's like, okay, you use that, so I'm gonna go buy myself some new shoes.
Yes, I agree. Well, that is very respectful. I was really hoping for some dirt,
I know.
but maybe next time. Maybe he'll mess up one day.
Oh yeah, there's still time. There's still time.
Okay, we've got a little more time, so I'm gonna ask if there was a woman here that wanted to get into ministry, do you have a piece of advice? Or even someone like struggling in their head, like, am I really called to do something? Or should I just sit back and just, come to church on the weekend type thing? But any encouragement there for anyone?
I would say, so y'all know 7 years ago is when I got that news. 7 years. And I had to make the decision, am I going to trust the vision that God put on my heart, or am I going to listen to these doubts? And if you're called to ministry, which I believe all of us in some capacity are, even if it's in a secular workspace, but whatever that vision is that the Lord's given you, like, just hold on to it, just like Joseph did, right? And keep tending to it and just don't give up and focus on the process. Like, enjoy the process of, speaking, even if it's to a group of 5 people, at your Bible study. Enjoy, like, the process of growing in this, because, like, I think enjoying the process is what got me through those 7 years to be able to, meet you guys today and have a book. Like, I had to, like, enjoy the process. If I was focused so much on that end destination, I would have been so frustrated and probably given up. So that's what I would give advice to.
That's good. Any other good words of wisdom?
I would just say, just continue to seek God. It's your time at the feet of Jesus. It's your time in his presence, in the word, in worship on your own. Like that's, you're digging wells. Yeah, you're digging wells. And for God to build up high, he needs the foundations, he needs the roots to be able to go deep. So just keep leaning into your private time with God, and he will open the doors. You don't need to push and strive in your own strength. Let him open them. And I think a powerful prayer to pray is, God, open the doors that need to be open and close the doors that are not of you. Because there are a lot of good opportunities that are not God opportunities. Yeah. And the enemy will come as a distraction right before the God opportunity comes. So just trust him, but your secret source is going to be your quiet time with Jesus.
I think I would add to that, and kind of just piggyback off that a little bit, is spending time with Jesus and asking him. Yeah. And then here's the real question, or real big thing, is then listening to what he says. Yeah. Because we get this idea in our head, and we've got, okay, I really think this is what you've called me to do, so you're just reciting it back to him. This is what I think I'm supposed to do. And so surely that's from you because it came into my head. But the question then is to say, is that from you? And sitting silently and listening, because he will speak. God is not mute. He has a voice, and he will use it, but we just have to be willing to listen to it. Yeah. And then realize it's okay to have questions too. As we go, no matter where we are in our faith, there's questions. Okay, sometimes there's doubts. There's things like, and then, so, okay, now you feel like he really is calling you, and then you go, are you sure? Because have you seen me? Those kinds of things. And I think it's important to remember that having faith to do something is not going to eliminate questions, but it does give you the place to, where to take them. Yeah. And so I think that's a good way to even think about, how does this apply to me? And so listening to God, and then if you struggle with it, it's okay. You have someone that you can ask those questions to.
I love that. I know.
What I was going to say is, when we think of the word ministry, it means services, right? And a lot of times it's easy to think that ministry, that's ministry, but every one of us, the Bible says that we were created for his good works. And so asking the Lord, what are the good works that you've called me to do in this moment? And sometimes it's not out publicly, actually. A lot of times it's not. A lot of times it's that one-on-one with him. And I know I have encountered the Lord just in the regular things of life, of, hey, today I'm just washing a ton of laundry. Guys, laundry kicks my butt all the time. I just want to confess. But it's like, today I'm going to meet with the Lord, but I'm doing my laundry today. And just saying, God, this is something that I got to do, but meet me here, like also, and from the overflow of that, the Lord begins to like just dream with me. What if we did this? What if I sent you here? What if I bless you in this way? And just hearing the heartbeat of the Father's love over us and hearing Him speak truth over you. And I think that, I don't even think ministry is a thing that we need to pursue. I think it's Him. You know, I think of like of Hannah in the Bible. She was crying out to her husband and wanting a baby. And her husband said, why are you crying? Am I not enough for you? Like, and I think that that's what the Lord's saying to us. Why are you crying for this? Am I not sufficient for you? And so I want you to know that the Lord is sufficient. His sufficiency is enough for you. And out of the abundance of that, the Lord will do great and mighty exploits through your life. The Bible says that in Daniel, that those that know their God shall do great exploits. Know Him, love on Him, and let Him love on you and speak identity to you. And the rest is history. You'll be finding yourself in the most craziest of places. But yeah.
That's y'all. Thank y'all. Now we're fixing to take a break, but no, I just want to say thank you. It is so fun to get to know you guys on a little personal level, and just to hear experiences and encouragement. I mean, it's encouragement to me, so I know it is to you guys too. But let's give them a thank you.